I mean, as far as a self-sufficient gym, it's very well equipped. We also have Feathers Salon and Spa at the Peabody. Now, there's been a spa in the Peabody for many years. We've been running it as Feathers now for about 3-4 years. It was recently named number 7 in the top 100 spas in all of North America. So it's small, but it's very well curated. Ms. Katie Williams is our spa manager. She does a really great job with that. So we've got a full-service spa available for hair, nails, massage. They even have ashiatsu, where they kind of hang from the bars and walk on your back. Yeah, that's kind of a neat experience if you get the chance. We also have a few restaurants. So up in the upper right-hand corner, that is Chez Philippe. That is our 4-star French restaurant. Now, Chez Philippe is the only 4-star French restaurant in the entire world that does not serve duck. Pretty obvious why. That would be really morbid. So in our memorabilia room up on the mezzanine level, you can actually go up and you see this memo from the general manager at the time over to the chef at Chez Philippe saying, "No dead duck at the Peabody." So no duck on the menu at the Peabody, thankfully. Now we also have the Capriccio Grill. That's our that's our Italian steakhouse. So here we are open Wednesday through Saturday in Chez Philippe. We've got afternoon tea served from 1 to 3, which is a 3-course option, and then we have 4-course and 7-course chef's tasting options in the evening. The 4-course is plenty of food, trust me. Then the Capriccio Grill, we serve 3 meals a day there. It's open 7 days a week. We serve breakfast. That serves as our main breakfast outlet for our guests at the hotel. We have a great buffet. We also have a la carte options for you for breakfast. Then at lunch, we have a build-your-own pasta bar. Actually, one of the first things when you start working at the Peabody, during your orientation, we take you to lunch so you can try out the Capriccio Grill and you get that build-your-own pasta bar. And then in the evening, we are steakhouse. That is our marquee entree, but we also have fish, chicken, pastas, some really good scallops, and mashed, potatoes au gratin. That's one of my favorite side dishes. It's like potatoes and cheese, and it's really, really bad for you, but it's delicious. We've also got a couple of bars. The lobby bar, which is in the very center of our main lobby, that bar does a lot of business. So the lobby bar is a lot more active compared to a number of hotels where you just sort of see a bar that's tacked on as a little afterthought amenity. Our lobby bar is actually a destination, and we market it as such too. Now, because of the Duck March, that gets a little crowded at times, so we also have a corner bar available for people that's a little bit more secluded, and that's where we're going to have our happy hours. That's where we'll also have our Wind Down Wednesdays, our live music when we do the Tennessee Blues, Brews, and Booze. We have an extra piano player that's playing in the corner bar. We have a piano player at the lobby bar most nights too, between 5 p.m. and midnight. And then occasionally we'll throw in like a guitarist or a little jazz duo when we have our corner bar open on Tuesdays. So that's a picture of the corner bar down here in the right at the corner of Union and 2nd. Just to give you kind of an idea of just how much we reuse space over time, I had an interesting guest interaction just this week where I was called to the concierge desk. There was a lady that was reading a book on Memphis. I can't tell you the title off the top of my head, but in that book there was a scene about a young man sitting at the soda counter in the Peabody drugstore. And she said, "Well, is there a Peabody drugstore?" I said, "I don't know, but we can certainly find out." So we walked around the hotel until we found a picture of the hotel. Let's see. I actually don't have the original there, but right on the corner, we finally found a photo from like 1928, 1929, where we could zoom in and we could actually see the Peabody drugstore right there on the corner. There was also a billiards lounge at one point, tailor shops, which we still have, Lansky's. We have a number of retail outlets in our lobby. Lansky's menswear store. Mr. Lansky's dad was Bernard Lansky. He was Elvis's tailor. So he had a shop in the Peabody, passed that on to his son Hal, who still runs it. It's all in the family. We've also got the accessory shop where you're going to find necklaces, shoes, sunglasses. We've got the Lansky's 126 store, which is going to be a little more youthful apparel, a lot of t-shirts, jeans, casual stuff. Then we also have Gear, which is a jewelry store. Mr. Gear custom makes all of the jewelry that he sells in there. And then finally, we've got FedEx Office Center and a business center for guests that need it. Of course, most of the things that they could accomplish in the business center we'll also take care of at the concierge desk. A little bit about our event space here. Well, first of all, this is one of our newly renovated guest rooms. So that room would be an executive king. So it's one of the largest rooms without going up to a suite. King-size bed, nice little sitting area, sofa there, desk. Many of those layouts also have a walk-in closet and a sit-down vanity too. And our rooms are different. Every single room's just a little bit different. Because like I said, we went from 600 rooms down to 464. We had to put walls in some very strange places. So when you book a specific room type, there's a lot of different ways that room could look. Overall, it's going to have pretty much the same sort of square footage on the floor plan, but there's little unique features that, fortunately, our very knowledgeable reservations and front desk staff can listen to the needs of our guests, and they can get them paired up with the best room. We also have some really lovely suites. We've got junior suites, which are basically like that, plus an extra sitting area. We've got celebrity suites that are pretty much a full-blown apartment. Celebrity suites got a dining area, kitchenette. You've got 2 full baths, including a nice living room area, master suite bedroom area, and we've got connecting rooms on those too. So anytime you've got somebody that we really want to impress, try to put them in one of those celebrity suites. And then, of course, the presidential suite, which is laid out kind of more for conference setup. It's got a nice big conference table in the dining area. And the Romeo and Juliet suites, which are 2 stories. So we've got a bedroom upstairs, and then a nice spiral staircase down, and you've got a little balcony where you can look down into the parlor below. I really should have put a picture on those up there. You can see you guys really keyed in on that one, but feel free to visit the hotel anytime, and I'll be happy to show you one of our Romeo and Juliet suites or any other rooms that you'd like to see. Now for our event space, now being built in 1925, the Peabody's event space was very purpose-built. I mean, now you build a hotel, you're going to have a grand ballroom where you can move air walls around, click-clack, make the space bigger or smaller as you need. And the architect of the Peabody probably would have shuddered if he heard that that's what the direction things were going. We've got so many meeting spaces that were very purpose-built. If somebody needed a dinner, if they needed a wedding reception, if they needed a board meeting, there was a room for every purpose. So all the way around our mezzanine level, that's the original event space. So for example, the Continental Ballroom, that one right here. So the Continental Ballroom, that would have been our marquee ballroom, 1925 when it was built. And it's still, in my opinion, the prettiest, easily. The Continental Ballroom is where Elvis Presley had his prom, and there's been all sorts of big events throughout the years. It's got a dance floor right out in the middle and a kind of a vaudeville stage over here on the side, but it looked a little bit different when it was first built. We had a dance floor around the entire room, and we also had, instead of chandeliers there, we had vents, because this was before central heat and air. So to cool the ballroom during big events, you know, you get 300 or 400 people in a room, it gets really warm really quickly. We'd have big blocks of ice up on the roof with fans blowing air that would cool and come down into the ballroom, and it'd keep everybody nice and comfortable down there. Yeah, we're a little more high-tech now, thank goodness. This is our Skyway Ballroom. So this one was added on 1939 up on the rooftop. This one's very cool. So back in the day, we'd have big bands play on the stage there. You'd have people come out to dance around the circular dance floor in the middle, and then we've got 3 more tiers of seating around the edges. CBS had a broadcast antenna on our roof that was one of 3 of its kind at the time. So if you couldn't be here to actually be here in person for one of the events, you could tune in at home on the radio and you could hear the program of whatever big band, like the Lawrence Welk Orchestra, the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, whatever big band we had in, you could go and you could hear them from your radio at home. And then of course we also have our rooftop, and that is where we have our legendary Thursday night rooftop parties. Has anybody ever attended a rooftop party at the Peabody? One person, all right. How was it? Who'd you see?
I don't know. I went with one of my friends. They dragged me along, so I just.
Okay. But you got there nonetheless.
Yeah.
Well, the rooftop parties are a big pull. We only have those April through August because of the winter season. It really slows down. And when the weather's favorable, that's when we're going to have that going on. Rooftop parties typically feature bands that are regular local bands, cover bands, and then we'll always have 1 or 2 worked in that had that catchy song on the radio like 2 years ago. You know, we can't really afford to bring in the ones that played at the FedEx Forum, but we're still going to have somebody that you might recognize on our lineup. So the rooftop party is a lot of fun, and we've got people that come in. We kind of designate an entire elevator just for expressing people up to our roof during the rooftop party nights on Thursdays. I will tell you from an operations standpoint, the rooftop parties do pose one unique challenge for our guests that stay on the 12th floor, the 11th floor. More and more, you have bass in the music that gets cranked really high. And fortunately, that kind of causes a little bit of disturbance for some of the folks on our upper floors. It can, doesn't always. If you've got a good sound guy upstairs and we're being careful about the way we're blocking our rooms, usually we can avoid that, but on a sold out night, inevitably somebody ends up right under the stage. We end up with a noise complaint. So that's one unfortunate drawback. But when we practice excellent service recovery, which we'll talk about that in just a little bit, that's not always a big deal. All right, here's just some of the companies that I've worked for. Immediately before I worked for Peabody, I was teaching ballroom dance at Fred Astaire Franchise Dance Studios. So like I said, I had no dreams of hospitality growing up. But I knew of the Peabody. I mean, I told you I came here for Christmases to open presents, have hot cocoa, dates. The lobby bar was a great place to bring a date. So I had just left the dance studio. I was looking for work, and I happened to be right place, right time. Back road, kind of out near Shelby Farms. It was late at night. There was a car stopped on the side of the road. I pulled over just kind of to check on him, and it turns out it was one of the higher ups at the hotel at the time. And I was definitely in need of a job, and he said, well, if I can help you with employment, please let me know. Well, I knew there was a concierge position open at the Peabody, and so I said, yes, please, I'd love the opportunity for an interview. So that opened the door for me to come in, and I began my first position with the South Spring Hotel, the concierge. Don't worry, I worked some fun gifts.